Alright, it's time for the sessions for the histogram analyzing. So the point of this is to look at histograms and answer some questions about them. So I've already gotten some work on some of these just to kind of give me some numbers to work with. And these are questions that the assignment's going to be asking about. So I already have like some of the heights figured out in some of these histograms. And that brings us to number 1. How many batting titles are won with a batting average between 3 and 3.5 in the first section? Well, 3 to 3.5, that's this section, and you add all those up. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 2 is 13. And then number 2, how many batting titles are won with a batting average between 0.3 and 3.5? Oh, in the next year's section, that's 31 to 1960. That's this section. Those numbers there, 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 11 is 23. I think, yeah. Sorry, 12 plus 11, yeah, 23. That brings us to the next one. Same question, but different year, and that's this guy here. And you add all those up. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 11 is 15, plus 19 is going to give you 34. Plus 6 is going to give you 40. Okay, if you were to find the mean of each of the batting averages for each time period, which time period do you think would have the highest mean? I would have to say it's the 1901 to 1930, and there's quite a few things you can point at. For example, there's less numbers in those lower section. And so that would force the average to be higher. You can mention how there are more batting averages of the higher rank, like 0.375 and higher, than these other sections. They have a lot less. And so this guy would have a higher mean. And so you can write one of those down for your explanation. You have, and then because, and I want you to use your words to write something down, one of those reasons there. And that brings us to question 5. As the century progressed, and what in general happened to the batting averages of the batting title winners? Well, the averages, you'd say the averages, so the averages went down in value. And then you'd write an explanation as to why that is. And here I'll say it verbally so you can kind of work through it and form it into your own words. If I look at my mean here for this first guy, I'm looking at a mean at about here-ish. Maybe even to the right a little bit. Or to the left a little bit. But my mean's, it's up in this area. And then on this next one, my mean's probably going to be pretty darn close here to about 3.5. So I get about in the middle. And then on this last guy, my mean's even shifted left more, probably about 3.4. Yeah, and so my mean's slowly sliding down. And that's something you can write down. The mean on this one would be about 3.75 or about 3.7. Over here about 3.5, and over here about 3.4. It's just sliding down. And so that's something to put down there on number 5. And these two histograms are dealing with the next section here. And I'm going to put all these answers right here for you. And like I said, I already picked out, decided what numbers these are. Some are a little bit hard to distinguish. I made my best guesses. And I can see arguments for some of these numbers to be a little bit different, either one above, one below. But my answers will be based off of these ones. Okay, and so what percent of all Shakespeare words are what percent are all 4 letters long? Well, that's right here, and that's just 24. And then what percent of Bacon's words are 4 letters long? Well, that's this section here, 18. What percent are 5 or more? Well, this is this section here, which would be 12 plus 6, 18, plus 5 would be 23, plus 3, 26, 28, plus 3 would be 31. And then what percent of Bacon's words are 5 or more? You gotta add up all those in this section. 10 plus 8 is 18, plus 5 is 25, plus, 25 plus 4 is 29, plus the 4 would be 33, and then plus the 5 there would be 36. So it's just kind of a little bit more. Sorry, I messed up on that last one. It was about it's going to be 38 for adding all those up. Okay, and that brings us to number 10. Based on the histograms, do you think William Shakespeare was really just a pen name for Sir Francis Bacon? Explain. So, I can see you making an argument either way. And so, yeah, you just basically make your argument for either direction. But looking at these histograms, I can see similarities. But then again, if you just think about the words that you use generally, you're probably more using words that are of this length here. It's not very common to be using words this often that have this many letters. Alright, if you look at this section, right, there was 38% are 5 letters or more, and Shakespeare, he had a lot less, about 31. And I would say, even though you only have a difference of about 6 on that one and 7% on that one, I'd find that a significant difference between the two. And yeah, just that shift in what percent of words you use in either direction. Yeah, I would say that would support that they are in fact different people. So I would say no, but you can put your own explanation. But yeah, if you think that's close or you don't think so, you need to have your own explanation in there. But that's what I think. And that's bringing closer to the next section. So this is hours of sleep per night for 2 different areas: Wheatland students and Urbandale students. You know, when you have names like that, it's totally made up. So Wheatland Rural School, 100 students. Urbandale, largest city, 3,500 students, which is more students than Copper Hills has, by the way. Anyway, what percent of students get at least 8 hours of sleep? For Wheatland, you need to add all those up. That gives you 41. And then what percent of Urbandale get at least 8? Let's see, 8's here. Let me add those up. 10 plus 9 is 19, plus 7 is 26, plus 2 is 28, plus 1 gives you 29. And then it brings us to 13, which school had more actual students. That's up between 9 and 10 hours per night. That would be just this 9 here, and then the 10 here. So which school had more actual students? That's up between 8, 9, and 10. That would be Wheatland, because that's 10, the other one's 9. Well, actually, just kidding. It had actual students. So this is just percent, so you have to read these really closely. So these are percents. And so, since you want actual students, 9% of 3,500 students is way more than 10% of 100 students. So this one would be Urbandale. And then number 14, which score higher median sleep time. I would say that's Wheatland, because the median is probably about here, about 7.8 hours. And if you get this other guy here looking more at about just 7, and so that would be Wheatland having a little bit higher, almost an hour higher. Wheatland's percentage to slept between 8 and 9 hours a night is something percent more than Urbandale. Percent of students slept between 8 and 9. So 8 and 9 is 30, and then 8 and 9 on this guy is 10. Well, 30 is 200% more than 10. This is a bad question because it's asking what percent growth of percentage, and so it's kind of confusing. You're either looking at 200% more or just 20%, 20 percentage points more, based on what the question's really trying to ask. Based on how it's worded, it'd be the 200%. And because to 16, considering the type of data in the last two sets of problems, letters per word, sleep times. Are letters per word qualitative or quantitative? Letters per word. Well, that's a count. They're counting how many letters, and that's definitely quantitative. And then B, are the sleep times qualitative or quantitative? That, again, is quantitative. When you ask how much sleep did you get, you don't answer blue, right? You don't answer with a verbal description of how you slept. You just say how long you did. It's a number. Okay. Which data set is continuous? Well, if you're counting letters in a word, you can't have like 2.4 letters in a word, and so the letters in a word would definitely be discrete, which is D. So that'd be letters per word. And then C, sleep times. You can sleep. You can definitely sleep like 5.4 hours or 9.1234 hours, and that'll be continuous there. Okay, so that's gonna be the first video, and I'll finish the rest on this next.